Our final segment addresses how to identify and discourage seafood mislabeling. It's not easy to recognize species substitution because in many cases, identifying features such as the head, tail, and dorsal fins are no longer present. Here are two similar-looking fish. The top is Atlantic cod, the bottom is pollock. An unsuspecting person may be deceived unless they're looking at the fish side by side, or are very familiar with the distinguishing differences. Differences include the shape of the head, dorsal or tail fins. The more processing that's performed to a piece of seafood, the more difficult it is to accurately identify the species. Here are the fillets of the same two fish. Now it becomes even more difficult to identify the species. If a processor knowingly commingles fillets from a less valuable species with a more desirable species and labels the product as only containing the more desirable species, then that is fraudulent behavior. During routine sampling and surveillance activities, FDA investigators have noted these common substitutions. We see many different species being sold as red snapper. FDA works to discourage seafood mislabeling in multiple ways. FDA field investigators evaluate mislabeling and provide information about species substitution to industry. When FDA finds violations, the firm may receive a warning letter or untitled letter outlining the violation as well as information regarding seafood labeling regulations. FDA works with its federal counterparts, such as Customs and Border Protection and the Federal Trade Commission, to deter fraudulent activities. It also works alongside its state partners performing similar activities, including product traceback, verification, and training. Trade groups report misbranding issues to FDA when the practice presents a potential negative impact to the industry. And FDA receives regular inquiries regarding seafood labeling from industry and the general public and works quickly to provide clear and concise guidance. Now, some tips for inspectors, retailers, and consumers. Inspectors should become familiar with species that are commonly processed or sold in their region and become as knowledgeable as possible about the various seafood products received at the sites they inspect. You don't have to be familiar with all species, just the ones that are more valuable or commonly marketed. Also, you don't need to be able to specifically identify the substitute species, but it is valuable to be able to recognize whether what you are looking at looks like what you are familiar with as the declared species, and to further investigate or collect samples when you don't know what it is, but you know what it isn't. Product labeling, invoices, and other documents should be carefully reviewed and cross-referenced for accuracy. Any inconsistencies should be noted. Any complaints received regarding fraud at an inspected firm should be reviewed, and the local or state inspector is encouraged to work with their local FDA office. Retailers should ensure that the labeling reflects the information provided on the invoices or other documents when purchasing seafood. Employees should be trained to recognize commonly marketed species and to check the product against the labels, invoices, and purchase orders at receipt. Teach employees to review labels of all incoming seafood products and bring any abnormalities to the attention of management as soon as possible. Always be skeptical of extra low prices or incredible deals on seafood purchases that are outside the norm. If you have any concerns regarding seafood you've purchased, contact the appropriate state, local, or federal agency for assistance. Consumers should get to know the product they're purchasing. Increased familiarity will allow the consumer to note when something doesn't appear right, such as an off odor, color, or shape, or unusual labeling. Consumers should ask questions about the seafood they're buying when something doesn't seem right, or if they simply want to learn more about their purchase. Purchase from known and reputable suppliers. Be wary of unusually low prices and whether or not there are major differences in the look of the product from what you've seen in the past. Now, a short quiz.